souls who, for whatever reason, are not at rest, are also not aware that they have passed on. They're not part of consciousness as we know it. They linger in a perpetual dream state, a nightmare from which they cannot wake. Inside the spectral light is salvation, a window to the next plane. They must pass through this membrane, where friends are waiting to guide them to new destinies.
Welcome to the Haven Exchange podcast number 16, and god damn, Poltergeist was such a good movie. Please go watch it if you have never seen it. That should give you a clue as to what we will be talking about on this episode: ghosts! On this episode, we are going to be exploring ghosts, ghost stories, our own experiences, and do a high-level history on the paranormal. Before we get into that, head on over to patreon.com/Haven Exchange to become a member today and support the show and gain access to perks such as voting on new topics and early access to upcoming episodes. Shoutouts to Tashamonetsims and Nerdashiro for the continued support. Their support, along with the Patreon support that comes in, has allowed us to hire a new editor. Shoutouts to DSB for taking on the challenge of making us sound like professionals, and also freeing up my time to create even more content for all of you. In other news, we have started pushing episodes out to our YouTube channel over on the Gamers Haven Network channel. You can find the link in the show notes, so be sure to go over there to subscribe to the channel, especially if you prefer to catch the episodes on there. And in case you missed it, here's what you might have missed on last week's cancel culture episode. 18-year-old kid for like somebody that leaked a video of him on a camp bus,
right?
Like singing Lil Dicky. You know, like
we should be applauding him for being wise enough to not say the word.
Right.
We should be applauding him for being like, hey, you're 13 years old and you know to not say that. That's some good shit. Like that means you're one of the good ones. Well, I guarantee you, if you go to most black people and tell them that story, they'll probably like, who gives a shit? Like who cares? I'm being shot by police. I don't give a fuck about neighbors. I care about the police killing me. That's my problem.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Get over that shit. That shit is not important. Worry about police reform, prison reform. That's the shit. Our people are starving out here. Nobody gives a fuck about a little kid saying neighbors.
Yep, exactly. And a lot of the cancel culture comes out. That was a good rant, by the way. Tune in each and every Wednesday for a brand new topic right here on the Haven Exchange podcast. Thank you all for listening. Let's get spooky for the haunting of the Haven Exchange.
This is the Haven Exchange.
Let me let you know that me and RC are both black gentlemen. So when we hear of haunted places, we don't go to that haunted place.
We just don't rush over there.
You guys never been to a haunted place?
I don't know if Fright Fest count.
No, that does not count.
Oh, okay. Well, I have been to one.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Haven Exchange, a podcast where we talk about everything and anything, bringing you a new topic each and every week. I am one of your hosts, Genesis, Twitch's 48th most entertaining streamer, and soon to be podcast's 48th most entertaining content creator. Yes! We've got goals, but I've also got my fellas with me. Big RC, what's up? AKA Ghostbuster RC tonight.
Yeah,
what's
just
going
on? And nothing new in the neighborhood. Just doing me, working, pushing these podcasts out for our fans out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, that's about it.
Sweet. And as always, we also got Imagers, next top model, Rick Fancy Fingers the Dick himself. What's up, man?
I don't know what to say to that. What's going on, y'all? I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
You know, okay. All right. Never mind. Keep going.
Uh-oh. Controversy? Suspense?
No.
What's on the tip of your tongue besides Kojima's penis?
You know what? This time it's not Kojima. It's actually it's gonna be, you know what? Nothing.
We can't get him to say anything.
Nope. I'm not feeding into this madness.
All right.
He's learning to not take the bait.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, how we all doing though? Doing all right?
Yes, still in one piece.
Still in one piece.
Yeah. Yep. Enjoying that lovely Chicago weather. It's 50 degrees now, and it was a snowstorm 4 days ago. So,
DSP, can you edit in like a small violin playing over this bitch?
You know, says the guy who's in constant 80-degree weather. You know,
yeah, you don't hear me complaining.
Yeah, because it's nice outside. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
You know, if I ever get a job in the games industry, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them they need to, no, you know what? No. It's got to be a surprise. It's got to be a surprise.
He's so, you know, what's interesting though, is with the COVID and all the pandemic stuff, a lot of these tech companies are doing work from home permanently. So like all of Netflix, I know they've disbanded. I think Facebook and LinkedIn as well, I want to say.
Yeah.
So like these tech hubs, like these are not going to exist anymore. I feel like they're going to be, I mean, you're going to be able to work anywhere, which is going to be great because that's a huge blocker for anybody that's been trying to get into the industry or thinking about getting into video games industry. Was location, because you had California or Seattle and now maybe Austin as the big hubs. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty cool. I think we're going to see something good come out of this when it comes to video game development. Hopefully, we'll get some diversity into the industry, and a lot more indie titles will be able to pop up, you know, as people can congregate from wherever.
I agree. I think it's going to be good. But I think the one thing that you could say positively about COVID, if there is such a thing, but there are so many businesses out here that really don't need an office building. You can function completely working from home. Like with my mother's job, she does a job where she can do it. She has to do all of it, just filling out paperwork and having these testers and all that. But you can literally do all of that from home. And then the idea of communicating with our coworkers, you know, you've got Microsoft Teams, you've got Zoom, you've got Skype. There are 100 different ways to contact each other, either video chatting or whatever. So the idea of being in an office for 8 hours a day, I think that's it's almost becoming like a legacy type thing.
Oh yeah. And I'm actually really happy that we have like Teams and all these video conferencing services, because we can finally, hopefully, put to bed the damn joke where like, I'm breaking up. You can't see me. I'm frozen. That you see every fucking where. Technology has gotten to a point where we can kill that stupid joke. It's been overused and outdone.
For sure.
I'm done.
For sure. I think the main thing that I'm excited about, though, is, like you said, you know, I actually filled out an application for a video game company. I won't say which one.
Okay.
I filled out a recruiter position a couple days ago, and it's for a company that's pretty big in the game industry.
Are they based out of Poland?
No. They're based. I can't even say where they're based out of, because then that would also be obvious. But this wouldn't have been possible if COVID hadn't have been a thing. There's no way I would have made it to that company if they didn't make that position fully remote. in specifically with the game industry, there are positions and stuff where you have to kind of not necessarily be in the office, but you need to be more reachable, you know, to where you need to go to people directly, physically, and hand them something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this recruiter position, I mean, I'm just hiring people. Like I'm going out and recruiting people for the company.
Yeah, which all can be done from home for sure.
Exactly. And then I have experience in recruitment. First of all, the starting pay, I think, is like $80 a year or something like that. Go. So that was the first thing. Fantastic. I really hope I get this. And if I get it, then I'll say what company it is. But I don't want to jinx it. Plus, I don't want any of you assholes listening to this and deciding to go apply for it too. And then someone decides to randomly get
Ghostbuster RC is like, let me get them deets, fool.
I hate that Rick guy. I heard he's all right, but I could do better.
Right. Like I heard Rick say something about like black people or something. Like I don't know.
I wouldn't set you up like that.
Yeah, with cancel culture, you may not want him working for you. But me, on the other hand,
I'm an upstanding citizen.
Yep.
Right. I've never said anything about anybody's race. Meanwhile, he's just scrolling through his Twitter feed and just deleting every tweet he's ever done.
Jeez, RC, there's a lot of hate on this Twitter account you got here.
Right. Yeah, no. There's a lot of talk about people's ethnicities and the way they talk. Like I don't know. This isn't cool, man.
Where do you go from that? You're supposed to save those for the end of the episode. And then I can quickly cut you off.
I really started to say a rough one at the start, but it's 2021, man. You got to leave that hate shit behind,
Exactly. I'm proud of your growth.
Oh no, the growth it's going to be gone by the end of the episode for sure.
He's reverting back.
I'm trying, but I didn't say I'm going to succeed.
Gotcha. There is no try. There is only do. Or something like that. What is it, RC?
He has the wrong person. I don't remember.
Star Wars, come on.
I don't remember that particular line, honestly.
From Yoda?
Yeah.
To Luke?
Yeah, I know it, but I don't know word by word.
Okay.
That man lying.
That motherfucker's lying. Well, we have ourselves another topic to discuss amongst ourselves and for the people out there listening. This topic is something I'm very fascinated in, and I'm happy we get to actually dive into this and talk about this a little more on a deeper level. Mm-hmm. We are going to talk about ghosts. Ooh, not even October, and we're getting into the spookies.
Oh yeah,
the spookies.
RC, you've been, to my understanding, fascinated with ghosts for a long while. Is that true?
Yes, this is true. And I wouldn't give you no lame story about it starting with me watching Ghostbusters or anything like that. Nah, it definitely had to do with ghost stories based on real life events and everything, which turned to me watching those TV shows and movies and me experiencing actually one for myself in my lifetime.
Ooh, yes, we're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. So do you remember when you started realizing what ghosts were? Was it out of fear as a kid, or did this experience that we're going to talk about later put you into the paranormal?
Yeah, I would say it. I will say it started off as me as a child, but it wasn't a fear of ghosts. It was more a fear of darkness.
Darkness. Nail?
Nah, get out of here with that. Nah, I ain't trying to start with that. Nah, but honestly, it had to do with me not understanding what lies in the darkness and everything, and me just being I had no understanding of it. And then, which in turn led me down the path to I wonder if ghosts really do exist.
Right.
And that's always been on top of my mind till I actually encounter a situation, I believe in the mid 2000s, where that happened to me.
Okay. Yes. I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
Rick, what about you? Where does your thoughts lie on the paranormals?
So for me, it's almost identical to what RC said. It's the fear of the dark that scares me. It's the idea of not being able to see what's in front of me.
Mhm.
I do believe that there is, I think there's too much evidence to support the idea of,
Well, we'll talk about evidence later.
well, now, okay, we'll talk about that later. But I think that I think there's enough to suggest that sometimes things happen that you can't necessarily explain. Like you see all the time, people say, "Oh, like, this explains that" or whatever. But in actuality, there is a reason for it. But as far as the actual idea, I do believe that that is real.
So it's safe to say both of y'all believe in ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the form in which that can be identified may differ or change slightly. And we're going to dive into all that stuff. For myself, I do believe in ghosts to some degree. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit, but there does seem to be something weird going on, and the curiosity in me wants to know more and find out more what that shit is. And it is also very much fear driven, which I think is a common thing. And I find that interesting because we're talking about people that have essentially, a ghost is you die, your spirit comes, depending on which, I don't know, ideology you believe in or something.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
It's either somebody that hasn't moved on to go to heaven or hell, and they're kind of roaming with unfinished business or demonic motivations. But I mean, these are people, supposedly these are the people that were humans and moved on. So why are we so scared of these things?
Well, I think that goes back to what I said earlier. I believe it's understanding.
Just the unknownness of it and being afraid of the unknown.
Something that does not look normal, something that they can't, I guess, in a way, compute. Yeah, and process. Yeah, I guess it will terrify someone on a normal level.
Yeah, in the same way with like aliens or Bigfoot or any monsters under the bed in the closet.
Yeah,
we don't know what the fuck it is. So like our innate emotion reaction is to be scared of it.
And then with time, that fear kind of dissipate.
Yeah, and I mean, ghosts go back as far as history can go. I mean, ghosts have been prevalent in all kinds of written old text, and it's been a part of nearly every religion. There's an explanation of these entities, spirits, and afterlife, and things like that.
Right.
We see it all over the place, which also kind of, if this has been written about for so many years and we're so curious about this, like, where does that stem from? Does that suggest that there is more to this?
I want to say it is, but I mean, like I said, just on a personal level of my understanding, I want to say there is, period.
Yeah. Well, what happened to you? What was your experience?
All right. Well, start off with me, man. You got to forgive me. I want to say it was May 2005. That's when my father passed away. Of course, we went out there to the burial site off of I-80. You got to forgive me. I don't remember the town. I just remember how to get there. And we buried them in the Veterans Cemetery. I'll say after a week, I started noticing some sort of fast moving shadow just roaming around my room and the kitchen, because back then when I lived with my mother, I lived downstairs. I noticed that this fast moving object was there 1 second and then just going the next as soon as I turned my head. I didn't quite understand what it was. I could clearly see it, but like
I say object in like a like, was it a ball of light or something? Or can you describe
it was actually a shadow figure of a grown man.
Okay.
Let me say grown man, of a grown person.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's just, you could see the outline of a human being, but it was all black.
That's crazy.
It's like it was its own color of black. It's hard for me to explain. I know I would catch it at the corner of my eye. Every time I go to the laundry room, it seemed to be leaving my room and going upstairs to where my mother is and just moving all around. After a while, I start to put two and two together and realize, oh, this has to be my father.
Wow.
I don't know why he's here.
Right.
Maybe for final goodbyes or whatnot. I'm not quite sure.
Did you just put two and two together, like your father had just recently passed and now you're seeing this? Or did you have some sort of feeling within inside you that you just knew that it was him?
Nah, nothing of the sort. Like I guessed.
Okay.
It was him. And then like I don't know, with me, I always felt like I was that weird kid. I didn't feel no ill will or no ill attention towards this thing.
Okay, so
I
you
think
weren't
it was just
scared of it.
wondering, I didn't feel like I was in danger or nothing like that. It was more like I think it was just curious and just wandering around.
Hmm.
It's funny how I forgot how the saying goes. What was the saying go? Like I think you meet friends in seasons or something like that. Because around this time, I was hanging out with a chick who I was cool with and everything, right? And of course, back then, I was still a religious person, and so was she. And she had told me that I needed to pray this thing away in order for it to start roaming around the house. And I told her, like, well, I don't feel no sort of danger or ill will towards this. And she told me, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't belong here. So
Right.
a few days later, I got on my knees and prayed and stuck my hand out, to the Holy Trinity, Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit.
Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, uh-huh. And turns out like that after that day, I didn't see it no more.
Wow. So to dissect that a little bit,
Okay.
did she convince you that this wasn't supposed to be here, or like did you feel like you wanted to pray to help this thing
Both.
move on? Or
Both. I mean, I kind of agree with her. Like, yeah, like I don't think you're supposed to be here because it doesn't seem natural for you to be here. Because if it was, I would have seen things like you growing up all my life, but I haven't.
right.
And I feel like I was helping you by binding you in the name of the Lord.
Right.
And all that, yeah. But like I said, after that day, I didn't see it no more. So
How often were you seeing it?
every day. Like after that week, like every day. It probably lasted, I'll say, like a week and a half.
Now this might be shitty to say, but
Okay.
what if, like, say that was your father and he was like, I just want to hang out with my son, and then you're like, I'm gonna pray you away. He's like, no.
I see what you mean. Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like me doing that, I feel like I was sending him to a better place.
You were helping, right?
Yeah, or like in a place where he could rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was my intentions when I did that. So I wouldn't try doing things. I'm pretty sure if he was able to hear me, which I'm pretty sure he was, pretty sure he knew that I wasn't trying to do anything evil to him or try to stop him from being around his family one last time. So
Right. Yeah, and see, something like that's really hard. Where do you even start to even scientifically explain what happened to you, whether it was that or anything else? It's especially from a personal perspective.
Mhm.
The biggest thing, seeing is believing. You saw it, so now you that just affirmed your beliefs in ghosts, in whatever apparition they are, whether it's the afterlife or whatever else could be going on. It's hard to explain away what you experienced.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know how to put it in words. This is just what I went through and what I believe in now, even though I always had like the notion like, they're probably just stories and people were just afraid of the dark and imagine things. But I'm like, oh, well, I experienced something myself, and it happened in the middle of the day and night.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah, I think I always thought that I was a little different when it comes to seeing, because I used to see kind of the same thing. Like it's always something out the corner of my eye, right? I always see someone standing there whenever I'm anywhere. I always see people standing there, and I just kind of brush it off like, whatever. Right. Yeah, like I'm just, it's a hallucination or whatever. But it really got weird when I was maybe 13 or 14. My mom was kind of like, I went to her and was like, Ma, I don't know what the problem is, but like, I can literally hear our cat who had been dead for a year. Like, I could hear the cat meowing randomly. And, again, I brushed it off, just like, it's just my mind just remembering the cat meowing, and I could just hear it randomly. But then it got even worse when, same thing, I turned maybe 19 or 20. And my aunt, who had just passed away, I could hear her voice, like as if she was right next to me. And again, even to this day, I still kind of brush it off. Like, no, I think it's just me remembering her voice. And it's because I do have a pretty vivid imagination where if I think about something hard enough, I can physically remember, like food, I can physically taste it in my mouth if I think hard enough.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of the same thing.
That's credible enough to assume that your memories are powerful enough to create those real,
like, sensations.
Yeah, sensations, exactly. So your experience have been mostly audible then. Have you seen anything?
Outside of just like the normal, I've never had like actual night terrors, but there have been nights where I wake up and I would swear somebody's standing behind me.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had that shit. The night ghosts.
Yeah, we're like, like, yeah, like I would swear somebody's standing behind me. But then I also know that at my parents' house, for the longest time, my mom would come into the room just to check on me. So I would just write it off, like, oh, that's what it is. There is someone looking over you. Yeah, like, and I actually do it with my children, where when they're sleeping, I'll walk up to them just to make sure they're still breathing. I just would write it off. So, but as far as like physically seeing something that's like things randomly moving, or just like a random, you move too quick and you see someone standing in the corner or something like that. But most of the time I would just write it off,
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times, like, and I'm using my fingers to air quote this, scientifically, skeptics will, the corner of the eye thing is pretty prominent in this topic. And a lot of times it's just a kind of our sensitivity of our peripheral vision, in that we can see things in our brain then interprets shapes and faces. I forget the scientific term, where we're able to see faces and seek out patterns in things in our surroundings with our eyes. Which was an evolutionary mechanism for us to detect predators within like the brush or the forest. You see like a lion's face, or you see faces to basically keep us on our toes and alert of our surroundings. So when you look at rocks around, or you see like the divots in a tree, like our brain automatically is like set up to see faces due to evolutionary means. And so a lot of times the scientists will equate ghostly encounters to things of that nature with the way how sensitive our eyes are, specifically out the corner of eye, where it's not really your focus. It's kind of there. It's a little blurry. And then our brains interpret it in some manner as to be something. And then you look and then it's gone. You're like, oh shit. Did I just see a ghost? Was that a ghost? Was that a ghost? So the corner of the eye, I could see that's a gray area-ish to where, like, yeah, maybe I did see. So I could see, Rick, why you're kind of like wishy-washy, in so to speak, in that you don't know for sure if what you've been experiencing. But the audible thing is actually curious to me, because that's where we see a lot of psychics and mediums in what they experience when it comes to the afterlife. So you're hearing cats that have passed away, your aunt, like, you're hearing these voices, which is interesting. And I'm surprised you wouldn't look more into that, as maybe you're a fucking medium.
Well, so that's one thing that my mom used to tell me. Again, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, and I know my aunt listens to the podcast, so don't tell my mom that I think she's batshit crazy. But like, my mom is a very religious person, right? Right. And she told me for a very long time that when me and my sister were born, she used to pray for us to be special. And yeah, she used to pray for us to be special. And one of the things that she said that I was gifted with was the gift of sound. And like, anytime I hear anything, I can hear things sometimes better than most things. But the older I've gotten, the worse my ears are. It's the strangest thing in the world, man. Like, I can hear things. Like, being a kid, I can hear my dad coming home on the other side of the house, not because of the door or anything like that, but because I can hear the vibration of his car. Yeah, it's really strange. But again, I don't think it's like some supernatural thing.
Maybe that's why you can't find the perfect headset. Like you said, I need the bass just right, because you're super sensitive.
Maybe, but I may have also destroyed my ears too by listening to music at obnoxious levels. So
that could be too.
I mean, because things are too loud sometimes. Like, you ask Jody or you ask the girls, They call me the noise police because some things can be just way too loud.
Mhm.
So I'll be like, hey, could you like turn that down? I'm like, my guy, it's on like 5. Like, what do you mean it's too loud? But yeah, I don't know if I don't think I'm a medium or nothing like that, but I definitely hear things. But again, I think it's just my memory just triggering that whatever the memory is.
It sounds like you're just reaching for any explanation for the things you're experiencing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I don't know if I want to believe that I can hear things like that.
I'll say, man, just keep observing yourself and see what's happening in the future. I mean, you never know.
Now,
It's
I will
worth
say,
exploring
though,
about yourself for sure.
yeah. I used to always go to my mom and say, hey, like, do you hear that? She'd be like, hear what? Like, you don't hear. Like, yeah. There was something where I remember freaking Jody out once because she's on one side of the apartment and I was on the other, and I went in the room, or I went in the room that she was in. I was like, oh, was it any good? And she goes, was what any good? I'm like, the drink you just had. She's like, what? How did you know I was drinking something? I'm like, cause I could hear you twisting the top off. I was like, I could hear you struggling to take it off too. She's like, how did you hear that? I'm like, I can't explain it. I just heard it. Like, yeah.
He's a mutant. That's his superpower.
She's like, you can hear. Like, I remember when I told her the same thing about the car. Like, I could be upstairs and I could hear when she'd pull in because I can tell the difference between her car and anyone else's car. Mm-hmm. Just from the sound of the car.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's cool, but it also, I'm not gonna fucking wear a cape and go protect people. Like, hey, I can hear bullets coming. It's cool, but
yeah, I don't know if I've ever really experienced anything like that. I mean, there was one instance that at the time I felt like it was shortly after my grandma had passed away. And I remember I was sitting there like eating some food in front of the TV and watching like cartoons or whatever. And like I felt like something pull really hard on the back of my shirt. Mm. I was alone in the room, and when I felt that pull, it was like I instantly like thought about my grandma, and I was like, and it kind of freaked me out at first. And I don't know, for some reason that pull, like I can remember the feeling even now to this day. Like I just remember like instantly thinking like, oh, that was her. Like turn around, I'm like, ain't shit there. What just pulled on my shirt like that? Right. And I don't know, a million things could explain what happened there, but that was the only time I ever really feel like I had an experience with ghosts of that nature. And I want to see them more. I've been to what was that place back home, the one haunted area,
Statesville prison?
No, not State. Grove something.
Grove Street.
Grove Street, bitch.
Yeah, playing around. No, man, I'm drawing a blank.
It was that cemetery. Like all the kids would talk about it in high school. They would go there because it was the haunted place. No, not Gainesville. What's Gainesville?
I don't know. Actually, I just said
you just
yeah,
you dumb bitch. You guys don't remember? Like, it was like something Grove. It was like out, I think near Tinley or Orland Park area. I want to say out that way a little bit.
Well, so let me let you know that me and RC are both black gentlemen. So when we hear of haunted places, we don't go to that haunted place.
Yeah, we just don't rush over there.
You guys never been to a haunted place?
Well,
willingly,
I don't know if Fright Fest count.
No, that does not count.
Oh, okay. Well, I have been to one.
I don't.
I've been to a haunted house. I saw things there.
Yeah, no, like no way, dude. I've never heard of anything like that.
Okay, so that place,
Bachelor's Grove.
Bachelor's Grove. That's it. Yes.
Oh, that place.
You guys remember that place?
Yeah, I heard of it. I've never been there.
I was too afraid to go there, so I didn't go there either.
Yeah, no, that wasn't fear. That was your survival skills kicking in. Like, why would I willingly go to a place?
However, I did go.
Oh God,
to this abandoned insane asylum when I was like 15. I want to say.
Why?
Well, it was a group of people. There was some older people there as well, so like I was peer pressured, so to speak, into
Peer pressure.
going in, and feeling brave because they're like, "Come on, yeah, we're all gonna go to this abandoned insane asylum. It's supposed to be haunted and shit." And on the inside, I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." And on the outside, I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. I'm not scared. You're scared." And we went, and that place was pretty scary. It was when you walked in to some of the rooms, like you could clearly tell that it had been abandoned for a while. But then you would see like a room that was spotless, like perfectly intact, nothing, like as if it was just running, the day before, which was really weird. And then you go down into the basement and you start seeing like satanic images where probably other groups of people were down there drawing pentagrams and all kinds of demonic iconography graffitied all over the place. So that also elevates the fear factor.
Right.
I never saw anything happen. Nothing moved in front of me or felt a cold chill. I kind of do remember feeling cold chills, but I think it was just cold that night. So,
Oh my goodness.
But I do remember like one of the quote adults. I think she was 20, and she said, "Make sure you don't touch anything or bring anything back with you because that's going to carry whatever presences are here back with you and follow you along." So like my hands were in my fucking pocket. And I was not trying to touch anything. I think one of the persons that was with us had like stole one of the light bulbs that was there. We're like, "Don't fucking do that. You're fucking with shit that you don't want to be fucking with." I don't know if anything ever happened with them, but the fear I had that night was ridiculous. And one of the things that I kind of sort of believe with these haunted areas, I think that collectively as humans, if we like sort of associate a place with a certain feeling such as fear, it can create an energy that can maybe do some weird shit and accentuate the fear factor and the paranormal activities that can go there. So collectively, if all of us, even in a large scale, we say like, this is a haunted site. So now you go in there with these preconceived notions and you're adding to the energy. And it can also create these things, possible hallucinations of figures or, whatever. I think that our minds are powerful enough to maybe create these fields like that. Possibly.
I can see that.
That's something I've always just kind of like thought about in a way to explain some of these haunted areas.
I can see that because one fine, perfect. Well, here, let me not say perfect example, but I don't know if you have been around like a nervous person before.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick up on their nervousness as well.
Yeah, you kind of share the
energy in a sense. So yeah, I could definitely see that.
Like, yeah, we could feel energy and like, vibing, the term that the kids are using these days.
Oh my goodness.
We can feel energies, and that means if we can feel energies, that means we're creating energies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's any science behind that shit, but like even just like the feeling that you're being watched, like what is that feeling coming from? And then you turn around, you see somebody's fucking looking at you, and you're like, how did I feel that? That shit's pretty weird.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's something to that though, because you can definitely feel when somebody's staring at you. You're in a room and there's someone on the opposite side of the room, and you get like these. I don't know if I want to say goosebumps, but you get like this sensation throughout your body that's kind of like, hey, something.
Turn around. Something's watching you. Something's happening.
Yeah. Now that's another thing that I attribute to my ears too, because I mean, you know how many times, this may sound bad, but you know how many times I avoided getting like picked on or beat up when I was younger because I could hear the person walking up to me. I could be like, okay, hey, this person's walking in my direction. It's a gift, but it's also a curse because I'm always on edge when I'm walking anywhere. I'm always looking over my shoulder, like, all right, is this person gonna
play like you don't play with your headphones fully on when you game?
I'm recording right now with one ear free. I keep, it's always the left ear is covered and the right ear is open. Because just want to listen out.
The ghost might Come
No, it's
tickle
not.
your butthole.
No, it's not. Well, no, it's not a ghost. It's a burglar. I don't want a burglar to come tickle my butthole.
That's what they're known for.
Yeah, they're gonna break in. They're gonna say, forget the PlayStation 5, forget the Xbox, forget this shiny computer.
Give me that butthole.
Yeah. And who wants to get their butthole tickled?
Right.
I mean, that may be your thing, but
I mean, I'm sure somebody out there. Just stay tuned for a future episode of.
Come on. No, don't bring it up. No.
it's okay if you want that to happen. I'm pretty sure you can get that, right? I'm pretty sure you know.
You can order that. Yeah.
That is funny.
I want to talk a little bit about historical instances and historical beliefs more specifically.
Okay.
Because looking a little bit deeper into this, and we see how far back ghosts go, or spirits, as they're often called in the past, or from past writings and works and things like that. The thing we see is connected to the explanation of the afterlife, and that what happens to us when we die. And I think it's logical enough to assume that ghosts and the idea of ghosts, whether you believe in them or not, if you were trying to explain where the origin is, you kind of need that connection from when I die and then where we go after we die. Because we've always been searching. We see this in history all the time. The question of what happens when we die, and different cultures have, heaven and hell, or various afterlives. And then so you need that connector between the two, right? And that's where spirits and ghosts come from. Your soul is your physical body. You're moving on. So the idea that ghosts could be your soul leaving your physical body and then getting stuck in between the physical realm and then the afterlife place. So it's easy. In my mind, it seems easy to make that connection. Like, hey, what's our afterlife? Okay, now what happens when you get there? Oh, well, your soul leaves your body. Okay, now what happens if they don't make it? Or a lot of the beliefs, what you see in ancient Egypt or even Greece and stuff, if you didn't, what's the story? The guy on the river where you had to pay him the coins, right? In order to...
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, on the river of Styx. I can't think of the guy's name, but yes.
Yeah, so then we start seeing ceremonies being built around our death, and like treasures being buried with us in order to give these to whoever is controlling the passages to the different places. And that shit, I mean, we see that carried with us even to now. When somebody dies, we put them in a nice suit or a dress, and we give them jewelry around them. Like, that all stems and is built upon years and years and years and centuries of providing our souls with these treasures to grant us access to different things. And if you didn't do that, a lot of the ancient beliefs was that then you get stuck on this plane, and then that's where we see ghosts and spirits really coming into play and being able to walk around with the physical self, with people around and seeing these apparitions, because they didn't have the goods to pay the gatekeeper,
the fee.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys know too, there's the belief that there's unfinished business. We see that a lot in media, specifically in films and TV shows, this supernatural. So I find that pretty interesting, that we put a lot of thought and explanations around, non-scientifically speaking, in what happens to us after we die and what are the procedures that we need to do. I mean, what is this? Do you guys familiar with the Day of the Dead? I meant to look that up, but I know that has
it's in the Mexican culture, is it not?
Yeah.
Like, don't they represent the ones that like passed away and everything?
Yeah, but I think it's like it comes out. I know the Day of the Dead has a lot of in different cultures. Yeah, celebrations where it's like the day the dead are coming out and hanging out and basically partying with us, and I think a lot of that connects to the specific day of Halloween as well. Has some of that origin,
right?
Where this is where our loved ones and our relatives and our past that have passed on can come out and play with us, essentially, and we celebrate them in a sense. I meant to look that up more, so I'm sorry, but I know that there is something around that as well. And then, so yeah, basically the Middle Ages is where we saw things kind of take a turn where demons come into play. And RC, I know you had brought this up about, the aliens being demons too.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like the Middle Ages and then early Christianity and religion started molding the idea of the spirit and the souls into being real negative entities.
Yeah.
In that, specifically in Christianity, where basically any ghost you saw was a demon portraying a relative or a loved one in order to get you to sin or try to take you on to bring you to hell. So when you talked about what was that? You said your ex-girlfriend or somebody that told you to pray away the ghost?
Oh, yeah. It's a female friend of mine.
Female friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
So religion has a huge tie to where any ghost you see is a demon. So for her to suggest, you pray it away, I could see where her belief system was probably that this was not a good thing and you had to pray this thing away because that was the means of attack against a demon, right?
Right.
And she might not have said that. It doesn't sound like she said that.
No, she didn't say that, but yeah.
Yeah. But it's so deep rooted in religion that it's really not something I wouldn't expect her to say that, but she knows this is my tool chest to deal with these ghosts. So she said, pray that bitch away.
You know what? I never thought about it like that. To you like put it in that format in that way. So I mean, hey, yeah.
I mean, even the Bible talks about like Jesus after he was resurrected, he had to convince the people that he wasn't a ghost. And so when he was like walking on water and shit, like they thought he was a ghost.
Right. They were like, hold on there, guy. Like, where are you going?
So yeah, there's passages in the Bible of like basically Jesus trying to, hey, yo, I'm not a ghost. I'm resurrected. I'm fully honest. Right. And because they were people believed in ghosts and it's so strongly, like even Jesus, they were like, no, that's a ghost. He's walking on water. What is this? What's going on here?
Like, wait a minute. Maybe you should go back in the ground. Like, wow, But I mean, doesn't this kind of go with it kind of goes along with our AI conversation where like maybe you shouldn't be fucking with things that shouldn't be fucked with.
Okay, yeah.
Well, yes, and that's what most religions would tell you is you don't want to mess. It's a bad thing to mess with this. And that also leads to a lot of the fear that we see nowadays towards these things because we feel like it's a bad thing. And that's where I was confused. And if these are passed on loved ones and relatives, why are we so fearful of it? But a lot of that fear comes from like you said, RC, the unknown. Sure. Mm-hmm. And then also the deep-rooted religious ties that this has is because it was always over years and years, it was something that was just a bad thing. These are demons and we shouldn't be messing with them.
Mm.
Well, an interesting case though, it's the Hammersmith ghost murder case. Are you guys familiar with that at all?
Oh no, but it's very interesting.
This one has a few like ties, and I want to do further research onto it because it's an interesting case. It happened in 1803 in London, where there was somebody who committed suicide. So they thought that. And let me back up. So a lot of people were reporting seeing ghosts, right? Okay. And they equated this ghost to being this guy who had killed himself, and so people were seeing all these ghosts around. I don't think they were really doing anything. I think a few reported that they were like being held tight by this ghost and it was just a bad thing. So like the whole town was getting like super worried about this. Mm-hmm. And basically this guy went out with a shotgun to ghost hunt.
Okay.
And he ends up coming across a person who was some sort of a tailor, I believe. And so the traditional clothes, or I don't know about traditional, but like was to wear all white linens. He was a tailor, so he made clothes, and so he wore all white. And this dude with a shotgun shot this guy because he thought he was a ghost. And
stop playing.
Yeah. And again, this is 1803, 1800, early 1800s. So two things come out of this story. Yeah. One, legal precedents were basically determine whether someone could be held liable for their actions if they were the consequence of a mistaken belief. So not only like this guy, he's on trial, right? And he's like, well, I thought he was a ghost. So I shot him. Is he held accountable? Does he go to jail for that because of his belief? So it really set the stage for legal stuff in that can you be held accountable for something you believe in? Which is super interesting. I think he did end up being punished for this in some way, and legal things came out of this and up to this day. But the other interesting thing is that because this guy was wearing all white, this is where we see the traditional like cartoon ghosts with the sheet over and floating like that.
Yeah,
that's where this
making spooky sounds and the whole nine. Okay,
yeah, this is where this imagery comes from because this guy was literally wearing like all flowing white linens. So how important this case was in general is where we see a lot of traditional ghost iconography, where you see the emoji is a fucking just a floating sheet. And I just found that really interesting that this all stems back from this dude roaming the streets at night trying to ghost hunt with a shotgun. Kills a dude.
Oh yeah, I don't mean to laugh at that, but that just sounds silly,
right? It does sound silly, but early 1800s, these
right.
People don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Well, have we ever talked about the Blackwell ghost?
No, we haven't. But
no,
I've been dying to hear about this from you because you've been talking about it.
It is so good. So the idea is there's this director. He's made a ton of like zombie films in Hollywood, and a buddy of his was sent him a video of someone who was working security at a hotel. The hotel security walked into the room. People were complaining about noises or something like that. The security guard goes in the room, he comes back out, and then goes back in like a couple seconds later, and all the furniture is flipped upside down. So it looked weird, but the thing is you don't see the footage of the room's furniture being flipped upside down. You just see the security guard's reaction and him running the hell out of there when he notices it.
When does this take place?
This was, I think the first film was 2017.
Oh, okay.
So this was, pretty new. Mm-hmm. So the director gets the footage, he looks at it, and he's like, okay, whatever. But then he talked to someone who owns a house in, I think, Philly, where, or it could have been Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's exactly Philly, but it was Pennsylvania. But he goes to the house, him and his wife, they stay in the house, and they're just recording their experiences there. And just some wild shit happened while they were in this house. Now, I had this argument with Jody where we were going back and forth about, is this real? Because this is one of those guys that claims he's a skeptic. But yeah, the way they were setting up their cameras and all that kind of stuff was they were pretty much trying to capture whatever they can, right? Okay. Now, you have to take into consideration that this guy is a movie director. So he knows, camera tricks. He knows how to make something look as real as possible, I would think. But it's very good. If it's acting, it is incredible acting to where this guy, you can tell he's genuinely scared.
I mean, the Blair Witch fooled me for a while, so.
I mean, yeah. So, but that's the thing. I mean, you see some shit that I feel like you can explain a lot of it. Like there's a point where he puts toilet paper on a table and then he puts a ball on top of the toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And the idea is if the house is haunted or whatever, then it will more than likely interact with the ball because it's believed that it's children haunting the house because the house was owned by a family in like it was like 1930 or something like that, 1935. Okay. And the mom that lived in the house killed like 13 kids or something like that. Yeah, and she was stuffing the kids in the sewage drain in the basement.
Jesus.
And so, yeah, it's fucking gruesome.
See, and that right there also, like the idea of the energy, like imagine those kids going through that and that energy that they're expelling of fear and all the pain going along with that being bundled into this concentrated into this area. Mm. To create these like echoes, if you will, of the pain and suffering and the fear that these victims had, creates this field around this house of just this energy.
Yeah. I mean, just think of the fear that they were going through. think of all of those emotions. I think her victims range from 9 to like 14 or something like that.
Okay.
Not to mention, without spoiling it too much, they actually found something in the backyard, buried.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, that was tied to each of the victims. I won't say
shit.
what it was because I hope you guys do see it. But
What's
all right.
what's the name of this again?
It's called The Blackwell Ghost.
Blackwell Ghost. Okay.
So the first 2 movies, I think, there's 5 of them, and the
Jeez.
first, the first one is free on Prime Video, and then I think the other 4 you have to rent.
Okay. Did you watch the other 4 yet?
Yeah, I watched all 5.
Oh shit.
It's some of the best, like form of entertainment, whatever, documentary, whatever you want to call it. It is incredible. The way he dives into each subject. And then when he figures out this first house issue, he decides to go into another lead because he, started having nightmares and stuff like that. And he
director?
Yeah, he actually believes that he might possibly be a medium because there was a bunch of murders that were going on in the 40s, I think, or 50s in Florida. And he actually was able to find like 6 of the buried bodies that the police haven't found in over 50 years because of these nightmares and dreams that he was having. It all stemmed from him staying in a house overnight for a few nights and just kind of interacting with the house. And he developed these things that kind of would allow him to possibly communicate with the spirits. Again, it could all be bullshit, but it's very well done.
Have you tried to look up to see if there was validity to it, or if it was
because my blackness won't allow me to look up that kind of stuff.
Like cross that line.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, because the first thing you do when you go down that rabbit hole, like now, me and Jody used to watch. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Nuke's Top 5 on YouTube.
I watch it all the time, daily.
Yeah. Like Nuke's Top 5, he has these videos where it's like random sightings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's one. RC, you probably have seen it. The one where the guy is I think he's in Afghanistan, searching an abandoned house, and he's walking around in the room and he's looking in the mirror and like this thing peeks around his shoulder.
Ooh.
That shit freaked me the fuck out. I the way its eyes were so
brightly lit.
It was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It was very unnatural. I know exactly what you're talking about. Turned around, wasn't there. Yeah.
And then like the way its eyes were intense, kind of like almost like it didn't have eyelids a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was distorted enough to where you couldn't 100% make out what you were looking at, but enough to be like, that's not natural. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And there are a few of those on Nuke's Top 5, and these are all footage that he found from,
these YouTube videos.
Some of these are YouTube videos, some of these are TikTok videos.
Okay.
Some of these are just videos from Facebook. Yeah, and these are videos that people just submit to him, and he reviews them. I think breaks down like the most important scenes and shows them off on his show.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if these have like fucking thumbnails where it has something that's not even in the video, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, he doesn't do that.
No, all his videos are like RC said, they're all pulled from people's TikToks and stuff. And these are videos from people who they're not putting these videos out there to get famous. They're like, hey, I can't explain this. Can you anyone tell me what this is? And that's what makes. There's a few though, where you're like, that's just a light that just happened to go past. But there are a few where it's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know if someone's that good at editing something like that. Anything's possible.
Look at Avengers.
No, that's true. That's true. But you can tell, there's a certain quality of like a Leviathan flying through the air, versus like something being thrown across the room. Yeah. Or something being thrown across the room in a certain manner where it doesn't look like something pulled it. It looked like something pushed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you
tie a piece of fishing line around the object. The camera's not going to pick it up. You pull it and boom.
True. Now, again, that's some of the arguments that me and Jody have had where we're like, we dissect each video like that. It looks like some dude is roaming an abandoned high school, but how do we know he didn't bring like 5 friends with him? to just kind of, you know what I mean? Like you never know that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun and entertaining to watch that shit for sure. Whether the skepticism starts kicking in, you try to explain it all, but it still is. It's still like the Paranormal Activity movies. Those still scare the shit out of me. I find it very hard to watch those alone in the dark.
Yeah. Those are entertaining. Those are really didn't scare me like that.
They didn't scare you, man. They fucking scare me.
Nah. If you talking about something that still scare me to this day, man, it's Poltergeist.
Oh yeah.
1 and 2.
Nah, see, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. I haven't seen it. I have no intention of it.
You need to watch Poltergeist.
Yeah, man, that shit will fuck with me.
The best thing about Poltergeist is that they don't dance around the idea of ghosts for very long. Like the ghosts ramp up super quick, and they're like, the fascinating thing about the movie is that this family, it showcases them living their day-to-day life with all this craziness going on. Mm-hmm. So like the chairs stacking up on the table and doing all this crazy shit, and they're like trying to seek out help, and they get this film crew who's coming over to get set up to see, like, over a period of 48 hours they're gonna see like the chair move like a centimeter, right?
Yeah, when it was 1,000 times worse.
And they walk in and they're like, hey, look, and then the chair goes flying across the kitchen.
Yeah.
So they don't set it up to where it's like these things barely ever happen and they're waiting to catch it. Like, this shit is, the family is dealing with it, and that I love that take on the paranormal.
Yes.
Yeah, found footage type movies or documentaries where I guess it's not a documentary if it's found footage, right?
Well, if it's footage,
yeah. But the lost footage genre, I'm a big fan of that genre, honestly.
Yeah, I do like it too.
Yeah, and that's kind of what like with the Blackwell Ghost, it's a lot of it is him documenting his adventure. Okay. But then usually toward the end of the movie, like the last 15 minutes or so, it's always, hey, when I was editing this together, I found footage that I thought was originally destroyed, but I found it. So take a look at this, see for yourself type stuff. And
that seems a little sus.
It does. That's, again, it's like there's one moment at the end of the second or third movie where he's like following the release of episode 2 or something like that. People wanted an update or whatever. And so here's the update. But it's like, well, hold on. You said at the release of episode 2, this is episode 2. So how did you release it? And then in the same movie add on that? It's a little weird in some circumstances. So
I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it.
For sure. The Blackwell Ghost. The first 2 movies, I think, are about the Blackwell Ghost. And then the last 3, it's kind of like, it's connected to the first 2, but in a different way. You'll have to see.
Anybody listening just jump scared from Marley's random bark.
That's funny. I don't know, though, man. I love the idea of ghosts and stuff being real. It's awesome, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm also going to stay away from that shit, too. Yeah.
Yeah. I already had a conversation with you guys about this, but just to let the audience know, during a time where COVID hit and I didn't have no job, I was honestly thinking about becoming a paranormal hunter or investigator.
Oh my God!
I was honestly thinking about this.
And then Phasmophobia came out.
Yeah, no. Actually, this one YouTuber, I think his name, I can't think. It's something Drunkard. Yeah, apparently he's been out there exploring everything, but it seemed like a certain spirit followed him back home. I wouldn't say it was terrorizing him, but just been down there in the basement, just chilling, just doing whatever it wants down there. And he had documented that too. I'll probably share the video with the people in Discord and you guys later on. But yeah. After watching it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for me. I'm doing.
You're afraid that something might come back to you.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Now I got to deal with it at home. Like, come on, man.
That's what I mean. Like that kind of shit is it's a hard pass. Like, there's no way I'm going to go look for something that is not natural.
Right.
Like it'd be one thing if it was like, hey, can you go Like, see, no, even my blackness won't allow me to even make that statement.
Oh, God.
No,
Right,
there's
man.
no scenario. The only way you're gonna get me to investigate a sound is if it's like my children are involved.
Oh no! Oh
You
yeah,
know,
then
there's
that makes
no
total
way.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've made it very clear in past episodes where I'll do whatever it takes to protect my children. But if it's just me, like I'm here alone right now, if I hear something downstairs, I'm absolutely going to hide in my closet. And I'm going to call the police. Like I'm not going to go, oh, who's that? No, that's how you get your butthole tickled.
Yeah. One time that actually happened to my mother. She had came home from shopping, and what ended up happening was as soon as she entered the door, she heard something like fall down, like somebody was wrestling upstairs or like going through her closet. So she had left out the house immediately and called the cops. They get there within a couple minutes. They go in the house, search everywhere, and find out that the shelf in the closet just fell down. That's all. It just perfect timing. Just her walking in the house, hearing that, and she gets so damn spooked, she runs up the goddamn house and calls the cops.
Yeah. No, I mean she definitely did the right thing for sure.
No, yeah.
But I also think, see, this is also why I'm glad that I am not armed in the sense of concealed carry, because I'm telling you, I walk in the house, I hear some rustling noise. I'm gonna go upstairs to check it out. But then I'm also gonna have my piece ready to rock. It's gonna be one in the chamber, safety's off, like somebody's getting shot in the mouth.
Are you the descendant of that dude in the Hammersmith ghost case?
Dude.
Look, I'm sorry, he was just an all white. I thought he was a ghost.
Dude, the police are gonna come. They're gonna be like, "Did you have to empty the whole clip?" Like, hey man, like.
Like, do you think ghosts bleed? I mean, you saw blood after the first hole, sir.
They're going to be like, sir, after the first shot and you realize that there was nothing there, why did you keep firing? Like, look, you never know. I have all these bullets for a reason, okay? Like, I'm not going to waste them.
I mean, you have to know by now, like, bullets ain't going to fuck up a ghost.
No, but I want the ghost to know that, hey, like, just because this can't hurt you now, I'm gonna figure out a way to make it hurt.
Figure out a way.
If I have to dip it in holy water or something, like you're gonna catch these bullets.
That's part of my fear, is that I don't know how to deal with it. Like a burglar or Bigfoot or any kind of monster. I feel like it's a physical entity. I could bop it on the nose or something. I don't know how to handle a ghost.
Now, you want to hear some psychotic shit. Do you have any idea how many times I think about, like, I just daydream in my room, think, if Nemesis from Resident Evil were to just bust in my door, like, I'm done for. Like, I'm pretty high up from the ground. So if I jump out my window, I'm not gonna make it.
He's got escape routes.
I have nothing here to defend myself. Like, I'm just a dead man. If zombies were to break out or something like that, well, I gotta stab them with a spoon. What the fuck,
Yeah, absolutely. But what happens when the ghosts come and are attacking you? What are you going to do? You don't know what to do.
I'm going to hide under my covers. and just pray or say, hey, look, man, like, don't tickle my butthole. Okay?
Dear Jesus, please don't let this ghost tickle my butthole right now.
Like, if you do believe in God, that is quite the prayer to hear. Like, wait, what?
I swear, if you just save me this one time, I will never talk about Witcher again. Just don't let it tickle my butthole.
Well, I won't make that promise.
Not even to save his life.
No. Now, see, you all keep making fun of me about this, but I want the record to show. The last few podcasts, I have never brought it up. It's you people that keep bringing it up.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
I mean, you beautiful minorities.
Yeah, I know.
Although, let's be honest, in this particular episode or in this particular group, Genesis is definitely the minority. I mean, his people don't really exist anymore.
Wow,
man, jeez. Ooh.
I mean, it's him and the Kardashians. I mean, that's pretty much it.
We got System of the Down as well.
Oh, right. And that is one of the greatest bands of all time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Put respect on my name.
I guess.
All right,
That's a shout out to Sage, by the way. Sage always drives that home, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're not real. Wow.
Anyways, RC, what was their means of explaining ghosts in Ghostbusters?
Oh, what was the means of explaining ghosts?
Yeah,
Shit.
I'm trying to remember.
They classified different ghosts on there. All of them left some sort of like ectoplasm of like whatever they touch, and shit. You got to put me on spotlight because I wouldn't think about Ghostbusters until you even brought it up. And know that I know that, yeah. I mean, from what I know, from what they gather, especially Egon, they developed technology, man, to capture the ghosts and everything on there.
Didn't they explain where they were coming from or like how they came to be?
Yeah, don't they like occupy the realm or whatever they called it? Like that, it's like adjacent to ours. Like they're on.
I don't remember that.
It was
a plane of existence.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I just remember that there was a Tobin Spirit Guide book and everything that they had for reference and everything. Apparently, ghosts has been living on the planet since like the beginning of time. Basically, it seemed like, and yeah, I mean, they just show up. I don't really think they even got deep into the story about that.
It is an interesting thought, though, that the separate plane, like, what if ghosts are actually just things peering through another dimension? Yeah, it's not really the afterlife or dead people. It's just these are aberrations that are phasing through dimensions in whatever way that could happen.
Yeah, it very well. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Or what if we kind of touched on this in the episode about, was it AI or was it space? Aliens and stuff like that. It was one of those topics where we talked about what if the idea of time travel isn't as we think it would be. Like, what if there's a different universe, or what if there's on the other side of the galaxy or whatever, there's another planet that's identical to ours, but instead of us being who we are today, it's the exact opposite. Like, instead of me being light skinned, I'm white or dark skinned or what, you know what I mean? Like, or what if instead of having
alternate realities, infinite realities.
Yeah.
So wait, are you trying to say ghosts are those?
I don't know. I mean, I think we know so little about anything after life. I think anything is possible, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's his working theory. I mean, hey, yeah, something.
And I don't think you can really discount any idea on what people guess about something like that, only because we don't know. Yeah. You know, like, no idea is too outlandish because you don't know to disprove it. So
yeah, and I mean, scientists have been trying, and then they can't disprove it or prove anything. A lot of suggestions, with magnetic stuff, just the way our brain works psychologically. They try to put these things out there, even like noises. Yeah, I remember reading something where certain sounds can create triggers in our brains to do subtle hallucinations and things like that. But nothing's really solid or really substantiated by any sort of evidence. And on the flip side, it's hard for us to really provide any evidence aside from videos, which gets criticized to the umpteenth degree, especially via sites like YouTube, where you have to muddle through known edited things or just clickbait bullshit and from the real, well, quote unquote, real stuff.
Yeah, I think it's too much unknown to kind of really say exactly what. Well, it's kind of the same thing with death, right? What happens after death? When you go to sleep, right? And a majority of the time, you don't remember your dreams if you have any at all. Like, you lay down, you go to sleep, or you don't even know if you go to sleep. You lay down, and then the next second you're awake the next day. How often do you remember the exact moment you fell asleep? You don't. Like last night,
right? Yeah,
I laid down. I started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Next thing I know, it's daylight outside.
Yeah, but I bet you could go back to the episode you think you fell asleep, and then you could time it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I've done that before.
Well, no, yeah, like, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Like, you could absolutely go, okay, I started on episode 3. I know I laid down at the beginning of episode 3,
right?
But now I'm on episode 7 or 9 or whatever. So I don't know the exact moment I fell asleep, but I can pinpoint around the time, right? But when you go to sleep, what if death is the same way? What if when, it's just no brain activity? I mean, obviously you're sleeping so that your brain is still functioning, but what if death is just nothing? It's just, there's absolutely nothing,
That's a whole other exploration topique.
Yeah. Like the ending of Sopranos.
But a lot of times, but I mean, with fade to black.
Yeah.
But historically and religiously, after death, your soul leaves your body, and that soul can sometimes be trapped in this realm, and that's where we see a lot of origins for where ghosts and spirits come from.
Yeah.
Now, if you say nothing happened, like if you theorize that nothing happens after you die, then now we have to re-explain where the fuck what the ghosts are and what all this shit is, which would be fun to explore. That's what I'm saying. Like the energies that we create as humans could account for that. Different dimensions or time travelers. It's a little out there, but
right.
It's fun to explore those because the unexplained is so fascinating. We're fascinated by the unexplained and unknown stuff. The darkness, we're afraid of what could be peering in the dark, but we're also somewhat curious. RC, you said the fear of the darkness, but you wanted to go out and be a paranormal
investigator.
Yeah. Yes. So you're curious at the same time of being a little scared.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course, I gotten over the fear of darkness a very long time ago. But
shit,
it all started.
No, yeah, not there. Me. I do not
really?
fuck with dark. No, buddy.
I feel like if I need to, I can spend the night. Just I find like a nice little spot, and anything come near, I go into fuck you up mode.
Right,
what the fuck? No,
you blast on it. Wait, what'd you say, Jen?
Tickle its butthole.
Oh my goodness,
God.
Hey man, look, I'm all like, if that's what you're into, Justin, I get it. If
I'm just saying, have you been able to prove that it's not effective against ghosts?
What if that little itch you get in the, what? I'm not gonna go there.
Oh god.
but no, it's.
Forgive him, y'all. Forgive him.
Yeah. Well, he started.
I know, man. But you added on to that dose.
I mean, look. But yeah, no. To RC's point, or the whole darkness thing. Like, dude. I do not fuck with darkness. Like, you know how many times growing up? I mean, even when I was little. Well, okay. Quick story time. There's a reason why I don't fuck with the dark, and it's because my brother is an asshole. Long story short,
that's often the case.
Yeah. Long story short, it was my parents' anniversary. Me and my sister, I was probably 9. My sister was probably, she would have been 7 at that point. He was babysitting us. It was thunderstorming outside, and my brother thought it would be a good idea to kill the power in the house and then chase us around in a Jason mask with a butcher knife. And it's pitch black in there. And ever since then, the look on my sister's face, like the terror that she had when we realized, where's our brother? Why is it so dark in this fucking house? And I'll never forget, at one point I lost my sister. I couldn't find her, so I'm just reaching around in the dark. It was too dark. Mm-hmm. And it haunts me. I don't want to do that anymore.
That's why I can't watch spooky stuff or play spooky games in the dark alone, because that darkness, man, my mind starts getting in that headspace. Yeah, so it's an interesting kind of mini scientific experiment that involving the energy theory, because when I'm watching something scary or something that is creating fear within my emotions, like a ghost movie or something like that in the dark, and then my mind starts getting a little paranoid and even hearing little things, or possibly catching things out the corner of my eye more often.
Right.
And so these things are being put into my mind to be scared, and I'm creating things almost in my environment. So when you think about going to a haunted place, a haunted area, and the collective is sort of putting that energy out that this is scary, that also it almost kind of proves that is what is going on, is that our minds are just so complex and complicated that we're able to put these things out there into existence just by thinking it. or having that energy about ourselves of the fear. So we get really attuned to every little thing that's happening. The only problem and hole in that theory is, RC's experience with seeing his father, or the shadowy figure that he believes to be his father.
Yeah.
However, you could have been in a headspace, your father had just passed away and you were thinking about it all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
But who knows?
It's such a strange. Go ahead.
Now, I'm about to say on a side note, guilty as charged for doing this, but I had visited a psychic, I want to say probably like a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, and on not only that, but she's a medium as well. And when I asked her about my father, she knew that I had a conversation with him in a hospital room, and it was just the two of us in that room.
Mm-hmm. And she just
no. It's like she didn't tell me word by word what I said. She told me what he told her to relate to me, saying that I heard everything you said before I passed away.
Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
And that like freaked me out.
Yeah,
like in a calming sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a freedom
like
release
closure?
type of way. Yeah, okay, closure in a sense. Yes.
See, I don't want this to come off as me discrediting your feelings or anything like that.
Okay.
But when I hear stuff like that, my first thought isn't you getting that closure. My first thought is that psychic preying on people that are in that vulnerable state where they want to hear whatever. Because I feel like, is that anything special to say your father passed?
Okay.
And I think I don't know, man.
But if it was a positive result, how bad is that?
Now, so that's the thing. If it's a positive result, it's one thing, but then you had to pay to get that positive result. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if she would have just told you that out of the kindness of her heart without being paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this is true. I mean,
but any service.
She was running a business.
That's true.
That's true. She was running a business. So, I mean, yeah.
I'm super skeptical of psychics and mediums. I know my mom, she did the same thing after my sister had passed away. She was out there grieving and seeking any sort of form of communication or closure in that matter. She definitely went and seen psychics, and she went to a few that she got really pissed about because there were some that she would go to that were clearly preying on the grief factor of it and kind of spouting just like bullshit canned response, like, oh, she's in a better place. And like, so she got really upset about that. But then she found some where she really felt,
I guess, at home, maybe, or
maybe,
maybe
just genuineness, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Coming from it.
Okay.
Because I know like some like the fairground psychics, a lot of those she felt that were like completely just on bullshit.
Okay.
And I mean, we've seen debunkings of like, what were those two famous psychics that were just all over television, like mid 90s?
Oh, fuck. I
can't remember her name. Yeah. I can't remember. I remember one of them, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And even Miss Cleo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Don't you know?
Don't you know? For just $3,900 a minute.
Right.
And they were debunked. I mean, because editing played a huge role into that. And they seen with those psychics or those mediums, they would cold call the audience, and it was very easy to debunk that stuff. But the idea of psychics and mediums, again, it goes back centuries, and the government has even done studies on to psychics and mediums, and you see they still use mediums in criminal investigations to help track people down, which is fascinating too, because it's also another thing that is unexplained. And with anything, there's going to be swindlers out there that are certainly gaming that system.
Right.
But then it comes like, so I get where both of you guys are coming from. One, people that deliberately prey on emotional and grief in that way is horrible. Like, fuck those assholes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, RC sounds like he got something out of that. So like, it's like the ends justify the means kind of thing.
Yeah. And of course, I went there for other things as well. But since she was a medium,
now, did you vet her in any way?
No.
Like, as in, did you do research to like? How did you choose this particular?
Okay. So here, she was on a popular Chicago radio station.
Okay.
And they invite her back like almost every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets on the phone with these people. I think you just give your birthday to her, and then she pulls in this energy and knows what's going on in your life. And then you ask her a question, and then she tell you like what you would need to do in order to correct this, or what is going on to prove that she's not fake or anything like that. So yeah. So basically, hearing this a couple of times, I just looked up and actually drove out there. I didn't have a phone conversation. I went out there like one-on-one with her in her office. And that's when we sat down for like 45 minutes and discussed a lot of things. I'm like, yo, like, man, like to me, what I experienced, she was a real deal.
You comfortable with saying how much you paid?
Yeah, only paid $80.
$80 for about an hour?
No, for 45 minutes.
45 minutes? Okay. Now, was there other things, like you said, you went there for other things?
The big one was that, and the fact that she also was able to talk to my deceased brother and my grandmother on my mother's side of the family. Yeah.
And did she know these people? Like, did you say
no? I did not give her no type of indication of who passed away, what was going on in my life, and none. She was able to pull that in and talk about it.
Now, here's the other big question. Then, did she have any misses? Like,
no,
that you recall?
Yeah, no, none. None, dude. She was familiar with my health condition. She told me like what I do when I'm not feeling well and everything, and it's like it kind of blew my mind a little bit, man. It's like I was an open book to her.
Yeah, I'm sorry to like keep trying to put holes in them.
No, go ahead. All right, no.
But like when the setup, did you give her any information prior to where you feel like she could have maybe done research on you in some way?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no. When things get better, hell, I'm gonna have Derek call in and I'll pay for it.
Yeah, I would love to try it just to see for my own experience.
And matter of fact, I'll pay for your shit too, just to show you. Real talk, man. Just have like some questions ready. I'll probably write you down for a 15 or 30-minute interview with her, and you just take it from there.
Now, what was the setup like? Was it stereotypical like crystal balls and shit going on? Or?
No. It was just a plain 1-person office with
just like
with
sit down
furniture, like plants. Yeah, I mean, she got like some plate decorations, I think, on her right hand side of the wall and everything that she like to collect and everything. I mean, yeah, it was like
did she like go into a zone or like any ritualistic thing that to tune into you and all that, or
nothing like that? Nothing like shown on TV or movies. It's just like I told her my birthday, she wrote it down, and she was able to just pull in all this information from
no
me.
Computer in front of her.
Nothing. I'm being dead ass. Nothing.
She didn't have a. She didn't have a earpiece in her ear or anything like that.
I'm telling you. Those people really do exist.
I mean, I have some belief in that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I can believe that out of just this planet, and considering how massive the galaxy and the universe is in general, for me to believe that we're the only planet with life on it, I think it's pretty reasonable to think that maybe there aren't people that are in tune with their spiritual side. Because you
should explore that side of yourself, Rick. I'm telling you, you might have something there.
Maybe, but with religious people,
he's skeptical of himself.
With religious people, with the Holy Ghost, and how they feel like that they're communicating with God. The skeptic in me goes, well, how do you know that's just not your inner voice? Just speaking to you, because how do you know what that sounds like? But I think there is some validity to that, because there are way too many times, and I went to my mom with this, where I like, if I'm sitting down or if I'm doing anything random, I'll just hear like this really, really loud, I don't know if it's like a beep. It's kind of like a long beep. And my mom would always say, oh, that's the Lord trying to speak to you. He's trying to tell you something. He's trying to explain something to you. But you're closed off to him, so it doesn't make sense to you.
Well, certainly from a person of a religious background, would equate that, because that makes sense in the religious forms. But it's certainly like, if you should explore that. I mean, for all you know, it could be a tumor in your brain.
And not only that, you said a long beep, correct?
Yeah, well, so I did dive into it a little bit. with that beep. It's some sort of medical condition with your hearing or something like that.
Okay.
Where I can't remember what they called it, but yeah, it's some sort of like if you just listen to dead silence, you'll eventually start to hear it in everyone's ear. But
yeah, like the ringing.
Yeah, but it intensifies the more silent your surrounding is.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that I hear that sometimes in nothing, and I've gone to the ear doctor. Was that
tinnitus?
That sounds familiar. But
tinnitus can be present in many different ways, including sounds related to the ocean, ringing, buzzing, clicking, hissing, or whooshing.
No, it's like a prolonged beep. I don't know how to explain it more.
I don't mean to pull a Genesis over here, but I'm kind of skeptical on that. You sure that wasn't like the fire alarm?
No, you asshole.
The smoke detector?
No, I'll hear it in my car, or I'll hear it in like outside. No, it's not.
Somebody else's fire alarm.
Trust me, I know the difference. Considering I've been around quite a lot of smoke detectors that need new batteries.
Right.
But no, it's not quite the same sound.
Okay.
But I mean, if you just only had that, okay, I could suggest medical reasons behind that. But some of the other things that you've mentioned experiencing, especially audibly, if I were you, I would be like having a journal and like writing down every single instance and what I was doing, what I ate around the occurrences, and just try to figure out myself whether it's metaphysical or medical or religious or whatever. Because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's cool, but it's also maybe one day we'll do a deep dive on it. Because I do want one of our podcast topics to be where it's just focusing on us individually.
Mm-hmm. The shit that's wrong with us.
Yeah. Like I'm talking everything. Like I want to do a full hour episode about RC, or a full hour on Jen. Like
you don't want to explore this.
Yeah. But
but for the topic of ghosts, you said you heard your dead aunt, your dead cats. There's something behind that, right?
But again,
you're flipping about it and brushing it off like I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, and the thing is I hear it like because I know the difference between me thinking about something and I know it's in my head versus me hearing something and I know it's clearly not my head hearing it. I physically heard it, or I could tell it was something outside of my head. And yeah, it's definitely happened with my aunt, with my great grandmother who passed away 20 years ago. She used to do this thing where I won't reenact it, but she used to say something and I could hear it very clear, like it was like right next to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that happened a lot, but it usually happens within a year of their passing. Not really after that.
That's easy to explain
with some research, or
just with what we do know or what we feel we know about what ghosts mean and all that. You have the year after passing, you're more connected to the passing in that duration of time. And the connection, I would think, fizzles out over time. Or if you want to go around the idea of moving on, maybe they're here with us for additional period of time as things get sorted out, or they pay the toll man, and then they move on, and then the toll troll.
God, oh my goodness, this fucking guy,
dead man.
Oh man, do you know what that is, RC? Do you know what he's referring to?
No.
Oh my god! Continue, Jen. Continue.
You got to send him the clip.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would lose the connection and it would fade over time. If all things considered, if everything we know about ghosts to be true, that makes sense to me. Why you would only have a short duration of connection to it.
And what really kind of hits home with the whole idea is when my mom told me, I was probably 17 at the time. And when she told me that she prayed for me, she very specifically said she prayed for me and my sister to be special. And she was like, she's like, I know you can hear things that most people can't. And she's like,
why don't you take this more seriously? Your mom put all this effort into praying for you to be special. And you're just like, Well, it's probably just some fucking medical thing, or I don't fucking know. It's
I'm just imagining the ocean right now.
Yeah, I could. Oh man. And you know what I also realized too with my imagination, how vivid my imagination could be. That's a part of the reason why I write it off.
Okay.
Is because of how, like, I had a conversation with Jody when I was like, if I close my eyes now, I can visualize myself eating a piece of pizza and I can literally taste it in my mouth as I'm visualizing it. And she was like, that's so fun. And I've asked, quite a few people, and they're like, no, that they can't do that. They can visualize eating the pizza, but the actual sensation of it isn't there. Like the taste of it.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely don't. Mine's the opposite, which I feel is probably a lot more common of a sensation, but like smelling something or tasting something immediately triggers certain memories of, maybe the first time smelling or tasting something. But there's definitely like smells that I'll smell and like instantly gets the memory triggered of and puts me back in that position. A lot of times it's a good feeling, but then there's some times where it brings you to a bad memory.
See, and that's where the hearing the voices comes from, where I'm like, it just feels like it's triggering a memory. Maybe I'm doing something and I don't realize it. That's bringing up that memory of hearing their voice the fact that
it depends. Is it new information when you hear their voice? The cat's hard to know because it's just meowing. Right.
It's just a meow. Yeah. But no, it's never new. It's just their voice just saying whatever they usually say.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense why you would think it's just memories if it's not them like talking to you and having a conversation with you or something.
Right. Like it'd be like my aunt who passed in 2011 going, that Donald Trump is a real piece of shit. Like if she said something like that, then I'm like, oh, okay, hold on.
Like that's months right there now.
Yeah. Like like that would make sense. But
yeah, you should get your brain checked out though. You might have a tumor in there.
Oh man, chances, don't scare the man. Jeez.
I mean, it's good to get checked. It's good to get checked.
That doesn't scare me. The idea, no, I don't know if I want to go too dark with that, but the idea of death does not. I don't know if it scares me.
Okay,
I don't think it does.
Well, with that, before we wrap things up, I want to ask a question. One, when you die, if you die, we could be immortal beings very soon, but if when you die, A, would you want to come back as a ghost? And B, if you were to, who's the first motherfucker you haunting?
Oh, I got my target picked out and everything.
Okay, go ahead.
I already know.
Answer the first question. Would you want to come back as a ghost? Firstly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I would love to be like that fly in the room type thing. Like what are you doing when nobody, like, I'm pretty sure if I were to come back as a ghost, it's pretty much just going to be watching people like jerk off and shit. Like it's not, I'm not going to get,
that's what you're going to want to do?
No, that's not, that's not what I want to do, but that's more than likely what's going to happen. Like if I decide to go haunt a specific person, they're just going to be, it's just going to be them locking the door and going to Pound Town. Like, it's not going to be anything special.
So wait, does that make you think like who's watching you while you're going to Pound Town? Dude,
I will admit that the thought has crossed my mind 1,000 times. Like, bro, like Louis C.K. something that resonated with me so well. Like how much how much of a piece of shit you are by how soon you jerk it after something happened. Like if your sister passed, like how long did you wait to, like if it was like the next day, you might be a piece of shit.
I'm pretty good at separating emotions from physical.
So it was
I need to eat, right? I need to eat
true.
food to survive. I need to jerk off to survive.
I don't know if you could compare the two, but okay.
Oh, you mean to tell me if you're stuck on an island and like you got your food, your water? I mean, you're gonna have to jerk off.
Yeah. See, I don't think it would work though, because if I don't know about you, but it may make you sleepy, may make you tired and all that. And if you're fighting, survival. What are you just gonna sleep the day away to hope to survive? Or
I'm relaxed.
I don't think it works like that. Man.
There's nothing to worry about. I got my
no. There's definitely things you should be worried about. Oh my goodness.
Anyways, so who would you haunt?
I won't say their name only because.
Oh, that's not fair.
No.
Sage.
Okay. All right. No. Actually, see, I know it's a
Sage.
No, it's not Sage. And the reason why it's not Sage is because I know it's hard to believe, but I actually really like Sage. Craig has always been, he's an asshole, but he's always been a good dude to me. So I wouldn't haunt him. I would absolutely haunt Chuck, though, for sure. Like, for sure. I'm breaking in his house. I'm stealing all of his games.
You're a ghost. Yes, what are you going to take?
I'm going to take it, or I'm going to break it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it all. I'm especially going to break his $2 copy of Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. That's the main thing I'm going for.
No.
He goes out of his way to tell me that he got that. Like weekly, and I need him to know that that's not cool.
No.
Well, see, wouldn't you want him to know somehow that it was you that did it?
Oh yeah, because I would probably leave a note. Like I'd write something on.
What's your ghost note? Okay.
Yeah,
in the ghost book.
Okay. Yeah, in the ghost book.
Yeah. Or no, I would probably take something and just write on his wall, just like you bitch or something like that.
And then he'll just know.
Right. I'd be like, God damn it, you're haunting me from the grave.
And you broke my twin snakes. God damn it.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be, well, there's two people, but the other one I won't say just because it's more personal.
Okay.
But that motherfucker, oh dude, he better hope. This person better hope that there's no zombie apocalypse or the end of the world type stuff, because I promise you that's the first person I'm
you notice how Rick directly is about to be a vengeful ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Not even trying to do good in the world.
Oh no, I want to do good. I want to do good, right? But if I do good my whole life and I still end up a ghost, or I still end up with the ability to haunt people, done deal.
Okay.
Nicely put.
RC, what about you? Would you want to come back as a ghost?
Oh man, you know what? Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And who you gonna haunt then?
Man, actually, man, like all the people who have done me wrong in my life.
Yeah, you're just gonna
I'm
or they're all
hoping,
mysteriously dead already.
I mean, hey, you never know, but hopefully, if I do pass away, hopefully I just remember every single event in my life, and then if I'm able to, just go and just fuck with those people who just done me wrong, or who I just didn't like. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any? What would be your calling card?
Man, that's a great question. Man, you put a lot of thought into this. I don't know.
Maybe, it's probably gonna be Burger King. Fuck you.
No.
Burger King rapper every haunt.
Nah, that's too easy. You know what? Probably flipped over furniture.
Yeah, you go traditional. Okay.
Yeah, like probably either flipped over furniture or furniture stacked on top of one another.
You like spell out words with the furniture.
Oh, probably. You never know.
Oh.
Like create some new shape with the combinations of couches and chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll write "boo bitch" on all the furniture on the floors.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Now, Justin, or I should say Genesis. Now, what about you?
Well, it would be fun to be able to come back as a ghost and like live anonymously amongst the population. What we know so far about ghosts and the limitations that they have present themselves, like if I'm just a fucking ball of light, like just scaring like teenagers or something, like that's not going to be too fun. But if I can go around like possessing motherfuckers, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Okay.
Oh, dude, you could go possess Sage as he's like in an important job interview and just start picking your nose, like or scratching your nuts.
No, that finger is going right in his butthole.
What is up with you in buttholes, man? Like,
it's a funny hole. I mean, what's funnier? A nose hole is not as funny as a butthole.
I mean, I feel. Oh my goodness, you are a real yeah.
Mhm.
No, if I was to haunt Sage, and he would definitely be high up on my list of hauntings. I would do very subtle things just to drive him crazier and more insane as he lives his life, and just like move his car keys to like another side of the table. Just do really small, subtle things just to make him feel like he's going crazy over time. flip the toilet paper around the wrong way.
No, don't do that.
My goodness, that's some next level evil.
Like that's really small shit, like leave one piece of like meat in the lunch meat, like one little layer thing.
Yeah.
Just the smallest of things.
The Lunchables.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
That's what I would be doing. Just watch him like fucking just follow the adventure of insanity. That's
you are a madman.
That's a man. He deserves it.
Does he though?
Hell yeah, he do. He would do this. I bet he would say the same shit about me though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
No, he would. Dude, no. That now you want to talk about somebody coming back as a ghost. When Sage eventually passes,
dude, I'm putting a bucket of gold on his fucking coffin. That dude's paying the fucking toll. He's getting the fuck out of here.
Dude, that motherfucker. To everybody listening, Sage he's one of the nicest people on the planet, but he's also the darkest motherfucker. When I tell you, when I first heard that story of you two playing, was it Fable 2 or Fable 3?
Oh god, not this again.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Fable 2 or Fable 3, but when I heard the story that Sage broke into your Fable universe and like had sex with your wife, got her pregnant, and then like gave everyone AIDS or some shit like that and destroyed everything.
The story gets just more like obnoxious
as you speak about it, man. Shit.
Time goes on, it gets more and more darker of what he did.
That is some evil shit. Like, who thinks to go like he banged your Fable wife and got her pregnant? So you just have an infinite reminder of this traumatic event.
Yes, yeah. I will not play Fable with him ever again.
I wouldn't play anything with him.
Right.
You know how, dude. I don't think you really I mean, I hope maybe when it happened, you realize how dark that is. Do you know how fucked up you have to be to do some shit like that?
Hence why I'm coming back and haunting him, and it's going to be a long ride with me and him.
Oh my goodness. And I could just hear it in his voice now. I'm like, God damn it, Justin, stop twisting the toilet paper around. Leave it alone.
Why are my cords all tangled?
Why is everything so salty? What is this?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, especially with his fucking cooking. Oh, I'm wrecking all of that.
Oh fuck.
Oh my goodness.
Putting cumin and everything.
Human? Where are you gonna get the human from, sir?
No, cumin. God damn it. Cumin? Human?
Oh, I thought you said human. I was just
human.
Where are you gonna get that? I really thought you said
cannibalistic
human.
Over here, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, where are you gonna get the human
forest?
Like, are you just murdering motherfuckers to get back at Justin? I mean, at Genesis? God damn it, dude! I said your name twice. Oh,
thanks, pal. Well, that about wraps up this topic for this week. Appreciate y'all tuning in and listening to us go over the wonderful world of paranormal activities and ghosts and all the thoughts that go around that have been pretty much. I think there was a statistic I read that was like it was 38% of all Americans do believe in ghosts, which I actually thought it would have been higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, generally everybody I know, most of the people believe that shit, whether it comes from a religious standpoint or just a belief in the ghosts themselves. And there's a lot of history behind it, and it's pretty fascinating. If you're interested in the topic, we'll drop some links to some of the things we talked about today, but definitely go out there and look. There's a lot of, especially the historical side. If you're into that stuff, look up where they, you'll start seeing these connections and patterns onto the beliefs we have today and how those have evolved and where they stem from in their origins in the past. And a lot of things we can see in our day-to-day where that stemmed from the past. So it's really interesting to follow the lineage of ghosts and even our own personal experiences. If you have a ghost experience out there, let us know. We want to hear about it. We want to talk to you about it.
Yes.
So yes, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Genesis. You can find me on twitch.tv/Genesis_GH. And you can hit me up on the social medias at Genesis.GHN to talk about the episode and more and all the fun things that we're doing out there. And Ghostbuster RC. What's going on? Tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Twitch at BigRC_GH. Also on the social medias on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at BigRC56. Just to let y'all know, I did update that Paranormal Activity playlist of mine. So go check out the new videos of hauntings and enjoy.
Yeah, definitely check out. He's done the work in compiling a massive list of paranormal activities on his YouTube channel. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Good stuff. Rick, what's going on, man?
Well, the big one is I'm still trying to stream as much as I possibly can. So I will be streaming more, but you can follow me on twitch.tv/phantom_GH. I'm always on Twitter, constantly scrolling through that haunted fucking app. You can follow me at phantom_GHN, and I'm on there constantly. So if you're up for any kind of discussion, let me know. If you want to talk about Genesis's fascination with buttholes, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about anything we want there. And or if you want to start that petition, RC, I know you were talking about wanting to like ban black people from doing something, but we'll talk about that later.
What?
Nothing. But yeah, that was it.
Awesome, I guess. Do we need to rethink our host list?
I'm not the one that was banned. I mean, that was him. He said, what was it? It was something like black people can't. You don't want black people to have voting rights. It was something strange.
Man, like, does that even sound like me? I mean, jeez.
Or like, wait, no, I know what it was. It was thank God tomorrow's March 1st because you're tired of hearing about it.
Jesus, RC. I thought you
no.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No.
He said something like, thank God it's March 1st tomorrow. Or it was something, but we can talk about it more.
That's good. All right.
Well, thank you all for listening and then never listening again. We appreciate you. Much love. Shout outs to the Gamers Haven Network Discord. We love you and amazing community. Boo! You guys are awesome. And
as always,
tune in next week for another brand new topic that we're going to be talking about. Be sure to head on over to patreon.com/Haven Exchange to also vote on the next topic that we plan to record. Head on over there, become a patron member today for as little as $1 a month. And you can also be part of the cool kid squad, like our gold and silver tier members, Tashamonetsims and Nerder She Wrote. Much love to you. Thank you for your continued support in us and the show, The Haven Exchange. You've allowed us to not only continue keeping the show running, but we've been able to hire an editor now, which is huge news, which should hopefully allow us to get some more episodes out there, start doing bonus episodes and branching out further as we grow the Haven Exchange podcast. So much appreciation. Thank you so much for that.
And thank you as always.
All right. That about wraps this up. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
This is the Haven Exchange.